Hello and welcome to the Legendary Ladies podcast. We are down one cat, but up one Morgan. So, uh,
Hey!
I've returned from the double COVID, but Cat is
Oh,
busy this week. So we thought that we got a request by email, which by the way, you should always email us at thelegendaryladies@gmail.com, especially because sometimes we have free gaps in our schedule. And if you suggest something good, we'll do it.
mhm.
So Chloe emailed us and said, "Hello, I'm loving your spooky season episodes and pilot pods. I would like to request a Yellowjackets pilot pod since the show just got renewed for its fourth and final season. Thank you for doing what you do." Thank you, Chloe. This was a great suggestion, and
Yeah.
it kind of spooky-ish. It's kind of spooky
Horror-ish,
season. A,
queer-ish.
a
It's
just
got
it's got a
it's
lot of
got
the
legendary
things
ladies vibes.
it's got a lot of the things that we enjoy in our media.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people are gay, cannibalism, it's really got all of the quadrants.
Weird
Um,
snow plane crashes. I mean, we're here for this. Ella
exactly.
Purnell. We love Ella
Ella
Purnell.
It's so funny because I was thinking back to, like, when I watched this first, and we'll talk about our experience with Yellowjackets, but when I watched the first season, I think it was right after it came out, and I was like, "Oh, wow, the girl who plays Jackie is awesome," but, I didn't real and then later on, she would go on to be in a bunch of stuff. I think when I saw her in, oh, what's the show that's based off of that, popular video game? A Fallout. When I saw her
Mm.
in Fallout, I
Oh,
was like,
I didn't know she
"Wait,
was
I
in
think
Fallout.
I've seen her in something before," and it didn't click to me that it was Yellowjackets.
Oh, she's got great hair in this pilot.
She
I'm just
does
saying.
have great hair in this pilot.
She has great hair in general, but like she's like
Lots of bounce.
yeah, and there's those actresses who can just always pull off the bangs.
That's a
Like
talent. Being able to
it
pull off a
really
good
is.
bang is a talent. So I mentioned it, a little earlier, but Amy, what is your experience with Yellowjackets? Like, have you heard of the show? Had you seen it before?
I had heard of the show. I would not have been able to give you any spoilers or names other than just general vibes that there are like clans and cannibalism and that no, that's what I know, and that like a plane crash, um girls, so just a lot of vibes and general ideas. I do recall seeing, and Morgan kind of confirmed this before we were recording, that this is a show that starts off super strong and for a lot of fans starts to tick downwards as the seasons progress. And I have a lot of shows I have to watch, and I remember thinking that wasn't what I liked to hear, and so I didn't really consider watching it, even though people are like, "Oh, it's got like kind of like 100 vibes almost." And I go, "Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot." But when someone tells me no, it goes downhill pretty quickly, I'm not usually going to be
Much like the
inclined to want
100.
to give it much like the one. Hey, at
In a
least you got
lot of
two
ways,
good
it's got
seasons.
100 vibes.
Yeah, right. But also, I've heard it's pretty brutal, and based on the pilot, correct. And I don't know. I'm in for it a little bit, but I'm also not. So as someone once described the Batman with Robert Pattinson film, my knowledge of this was just vibes only.
Vibes only. That's so my experience with Yellowjackets is I watched the full first season. So when Yellowjackets first came out, there was so much buzz about Yellowjackets. Everybody was talking about Yellowjackets, and I was like, I must be part of the conversation. So my husband and I watched the first season, and I think I can't remember if it was it had completed or it was like almost finished when I started watching it. But I remember really liking the first season, but I also remember every time we would go to watch an episode, I'd be like, "Ugh, I don't know. I don't know. Do I have an episode of Yellowjackets in me?" Because for some reason, this show used to make me, like, so anxious. Like,
Yes, it made me anxious. I
okay,
had to watch it over the course of 3 days.
okay, this makes me feel better because I was rewatching the pilot today because I was like, even though I watched the whole first season, that was a while back, and I don't remember as much about it as I would hope. I think it came out in 2021 or somewhere around there, and I was like, my memory of 2021 is shot. I barely remember anything that happened like yesterday. So when I went back and I watched the pilot, I was like, "Oh, this isn't, like, as bad that like, anxiety-wise, this isn't as bad
Yeah.
as I remember." But then I
It's
started thinking about other things that, like, happened in it, and I was like, well."
I I'm not a fan of the clear visualized cannibalism.
Oh, yeah,
What's
no, that's not great.
interesting is that from a script perspective or a novel perspective, this is fascinating. From a script perspective, I bet reading this script was just checked all the boxes because I think kind of diving into the episode,
Yeah.
I think the way the episode is composed and written is really well done. I think a lot of the choices for the brutality of what you're seeing in it is directorial choices, which is fine. That's directorial and not screenwriter. Uh, oh my gosh, showrunner. Those are their choices. But from a script perspective, I think it's an incredibly well done script. I could see whoever's reading it being like, "Oh, wait a second! Like some of them survived, but some of them didn't." Oh yeah, clearly the nurse is the crazy one with the eye, the glasses, and the hair. And like I like that it's composed enough that you're back in the past enough, but then you see the future. You're trying to figure out who's related to who. I think there's good juxtaposition with certain scenes following by certain scenes. Um, the end is well done enough that if you didn't know there was a plane crash and they all crashed and landed here, I think it would hit harder. If you know that, which I knew, the whole time you're like, when are they going to get in the plane? When are they going to crash? We know it's the girls in the wilderness. But
Well,
I
I
think
also
the
think
first
that
time you
the
read the script, you would
yeah.
never have known that. And you'd be like,
Well, I
whoa.
think that the pilot all the way through is telling you that they crash landed because the reporter comes to see
Shauna?
Shauna, which
Yeah.
is Melanie. Oh, what's her last name now? I'm gonna
All I know
blank.
is that she's the not mean stepsister from Ever After.
Oh, my, is she really?
Yeah. Oh, Morgan, have you never seen Ever After
I have
with
seen
Drew
it, but
Barrymore?
it's a long time. It's been a long time. Melanie
Then I
Linsky,
recommend. It
or
will
I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but yeah, she's great, and I didn't realize she was in that, and now I have to rewatch
oh,
Ever After
Ever
because it's been a
After
really long time.
is one of those movies that will just make you feel better. It will always hit. It will always make you feel better. You're always
It's a
going to
classic.
smile.
It's a
You'll
classic.
always cry. You'll always hate the wicked stepmother. Like it's so well done.
I just
Anyway,
realized in case somebody is listening and they don't know anything about Yellow Jackets at all, I'm going to read really quickly the Google description for Yellow Jackets, which is that Yellow Jackets tells the narrative of a team of wildly talented high school girls soccer players who survive a plane crash deep in the Ontario wilderness. The series chronicles their descent from a complicated but thriving team to warring cannibalism. And then it also tracks their lives that they attempt to piece back together. So it flashes back. I think it says it to their adult counterparts who've survived 25 years later. So it kind of flips back and forth. You're with the younger girls as they're like high school soccer players, and then flash back to them as older women and what their lives are like. And also um because they talk a lot about this plane crash that happened with the Yellow Jackets a soccer team, and how there's kind of seems like they're kind of infamous. There's kind of negativity around the plane
yeah.
crash and like their survival story, and that we find out in the pilot that they survived for like 19 months before they got rescued. So that's like a year and a half.
That's a long
Uh,
time also. Like that seems excessive.
But I thought one of the interesting things in the pilot as I was watching, I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember watching the pilot and being like, as you're in the present day, you're also kind of learning which ones survived."
Which is very interesting because you know that the show is throwing you for intentional red herrings. They passed that little heart necklace around to multiple different people, and the
Yeah.
last person who has it is clearly still alive. Um, and you're waiting to see, because some of the characters you can tell who their past person was. I couldn't figure out who the past life of the girl who was in rehab was.
Oh, Juliette Lewis, her past her younger version is Natalie. That's the sort of punk rock girl with the blonde hair and like the crazy
Oh,
bangs. Um
oh, the
so
the pothead.
the pothead, yeah, so
Got
uh
it. Oh, interesting.
yeah, so her future
Hmm.
version is played by Juliette Lewis. The
Okay.
crazy girl with the big glasses, her future version is
Misty.
obviously played by, and now I am blanking on her name, but she's very famous. She is played by
She's a
uh,
total
uh, uh.
psychopath, and I could tell that right away.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Like,
she's
you could tell she was a
Christina
psychopath.
Ricci. That's
Oh,
right.
yes. You could tell she was a, like, literal sociopath when she saw the leg break and she was like,
Like into it. Yeah,
fascinating.
like,
Yeah. I was like,
oh.
oh, you weirdo.
It's like, oh no,
Um,
what's going on with
I
her?
will say that gal's portrayal of how loud she screamed when she broke her leg was pretty accurate. She needed to be screaming more as someone who's broken their leg. That's so funny. Morgan and I were just chatting about, I broke my femur a couple of years ago. Now, that was only a lower leg fracture, so different. But I
Not
have
as
to
bad
tell
as
you,
breaking your
not
femur,
as bad
for
as breaking a
sure.
femur, but what kills me now when I watch shows is when people break a femur on a show and they're not screaming loud enough. I guarantee you, when you're on the ground and you first fall, trigger warning, you've got like that adrenaline coursing through you, doesn't hurt. When they start to move you, oh my God. And
Oh,
so when people are like being loaded up into the ambulances on Chicago Med, they're like, okay, I'll see you later, Mom. I'm like, you are not screaming loud enough. You should be screaming loud enough that you're going to faint. I will never forget. Y'all are getting a real fun story here. The paramedic who was loading the firefighter who was loading me up onto the thing as I'm screaming as they're getting me across the like bumpy uneven ground
oh
on
God.
the gurney into the ambulance. He's like, you could pass out if you want to, and I go, I'm trying.
I'm trying.
I
Oh
was
my God.
literally reaching for oblivion, begging it to put me out. But my body's like, nah, bitch, you
Oh my
sticking
God.
around for this. And then I got in the ambulance, and it was a very attractive paramedic. So my body did have a general idea of what it was doing. It didn't end the way you think it does, but I mean,
We gotta keep conscious. What if we've got a chance?
what if this is your future husband? This sounds
What
like
if
a
this is our
rom com.
meet cute?
What if this is our meet cute? Nothing like trauma to bring two people together.
I didn't even think about the leg break as on this one while I was watching being
Oh, I
traumatic for
did.
you, Amy.
I was like, oh, there it is.
Not again.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know the story, it's on my Instagram. Y'all can go look at it. The X-rays are great. But I fell off a ladder. I'm now the poster child for OSHA. So what's funny is the place where I now work is a physically intensive, labor intensive place, and we do a lot of work on ladders. And everyone in our department knows me, the ladder story, and absolutely every one of them, they all tell me that when they get on a ladder, they think of me, and they all get a buddy, or they don't get a buddy and they still think of me. And I'm like, you think you're gonna be okay until you fall off a ladder and break your femur.
Everyone thinks it can't happen to them.
Yep, but at 31 years old, snap, crackle, and pop. There you go.
Oh gosh. Yeah,
On that
so
note,
on that note, switching gears. Yeah, what did you think of the pilot overall? Like I mean, we'll talk later about whether or not it enticed you to watch more, but
mm-hmm,
as I was watching it, I remember thinking, I really think that the structure of the pilot is so compelling because you have these parallel stories. So if you're not that invested in one, you might
mm-hmm,
be more invested in the other one. And also, as you're watching the girls as they're younger, you start learning more about what becomes of them in the flash forward. So we have, I believe her name
Taisha.
is Taisha
Yeah,
or
I think it's
uh
Taisha.
yeah, Taisa or Taisa. who is sort of the bossy, aggressive soccer
Mm-hmm.
player in high school, and then in the future she is like running for like political office, and she's got a wife and like a family, and you see, obviously you see Nat, who is a little bit of a burnout in high school, in rehab in the future, so you're like, that tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that like there was enough interesting things connecting the two stories that I was always like, "Oh, this is so cool to find out what happened here and what happened
Mm-hmm.
there." And I feel like there are a couple of like really interesting twists where I felt like the show was trying to imply one thing and then sort of pulled the rug on you, and you find out it's actually a different thing. Because when I remember when I first watched it, I was like, "Oh, Shauna is in love with Jackie." Like, Shauna is in love with her best friend.
Yes. Yes.
Like, she's constantly, like, kind of, like, looking at Jackie, like, she seems like she's upset with that Jackie is going out with Jackie and her boyfriend are doing things
Yeah.
together, and she's kind of, like, constantly looking at Jackie and her boyfriend, and
Mm-hmm.
then, halfway through the pilot, you learn that it's not so much that she is is in love with her best friend, she's actually, has a thing for her best friend's boyfriend, and I thought that was
Was that what that was? I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that it
yeah,
was her
yeah.
boyfriend.
It was well, because they make out in the car, and they
Mm-hmm.
have sex in the car, and that was Jackie's, like, Ella Purnell's
I didn't
character's
realize that.
boyfriend. So she's,
Oh.
like, she's actually betraying her best friend, and that's why she's been so
Mm,
weird about the 2 of them dating.
got it. I didn't catch that part. I guess I didn't catch who it was in general. Um
Yeah, I don't think that the one critique I will say is I don't think that the boyfriend was on screen enough for you to kinda track who he was.
yeah. And there were a lot of characters. It was hard to track everyone. I was having a little bit of trouble figuring out who belonged to who. I think if the burnout girl had still had the blonde hair, I might have gone with it, but I guess you were
Yeah.
supposed to surmise, oh, burnout in high school, burnout in life. But I didn't really track that. I guess I was, expecting that kind of classic 180 that happens, turn your
Yeah,
life
like the
around.
surprise, like, oh, she turned her like if
Yeah.
it had been like what Thais's character was, where she's like suddenly she's like all buttoned up, I think that would have been interesting too.
Hmm. Yeah, overall, I liked the structure of the pilot. I thought it was compelling. I thought it was interesting. Again, I think this would have read better for me completely blind if I had had no idea. But it leaves you with enough of mystery to want to know more. I just don't know if I'm interested in the brutality part of what's going to happen in the wild. I don't think the clan stuff interests me.
Cause the pilot opens, like, cold open with a girl being chased through the woods and then falling into, like, a pit with
Yeah.
spikes and dying, and then
And
them eating her,
yeah,
like
at first I was like, what's going Oh, they're consuming her. Okay.
It starts
I was
strong
like,
with cannibalism,
oh.
well, it starts strong with a murder, and then by the end of the pilot, you're like, "Oh, no, they're eating her.
Yeah.
Oh,
And apparently
no."
Misty real cooked her good. She's like, they're like eating her like ritualistically. Like it's
Yeah, they're
just
all in, like, weird ritual garments and things
mm-hmm.
like that, like antlers and weird head scar and also clever that they all have them in these weird garments where it's covering their face,
You don't know
so
who's
you
who.
don't know who is who. The only person they reveal as, like, being part of the cannibal group, in the pilot is Misty, because of course she is, because, we learn very early on that she's nuts.
Psycho. Yeah.
Yeah, no, something's just not right up there,
She's a very good cook, but otherwise. But
and
yeah,
she's
I
already exhibiting, like, crazy behavior throughout the pilot, so, like, there's no need to hold that one close to the
yeah.
chest.
Nah, she's an outsider looking in from the beginning. And I liked that. I liked that you could pick up on those levels of characterization. It is interesting to me. I definitely was like, I bet you this reads better than it plays, which is fascinating because I don't know if you ever want that, but I wish I had gone in if I had been able to go in more blind. Um the thing that I did not recognize, I didn't know, was that they had the two different timelines. And two different timelines for me truly is a 50-50. I either like it or I don't. And a
Yeah.
lot of times I don't. This one I thought did it really well. I actually found both timelines just as compelling, largely because you don't know who's still alive and who's not. And I
Yep.
think that that is well done. I think that's a great idea. Um, Based on what I know, though, of how the series, and this is, just from critical acclaim, it has nothing to do with fans. We don't actually, I don't understand, I don't know. Obviously, the show's got 4 seasons, so I don't know what the fandom is like. For all I know, I'm speaking like hardcore blasphemy right now. But from our understanding, critically, it starts to go downhill after the first season. The premise of the show strikes me as something that would have been better as a 6 to 10 episode Netflix miniseries. I think that lends itself to letting you have a little bit more fun with the mystery of things. You could always do a Yellowjackets spinoff. You could do a what happened afterwards kind of a thing. But for me, this struck me as a little bit of a series that probably would have done better off the bat as a, Netflix miniseries. But maybe that's just me becoming complacent with shows and enjoying that. I think I'm enjoying the shows that are now in between a movie and a long series. I think I'm really liking my 6 to 10 episode miniseries. Or the 4-episode Death by Lightning series that just came out with Matthew McFadden,
Oh.
Mr. Darcy. It's great. It's wonderful. It's 4 episodes, and that's it. That's all it's ever going to be. It's
Is that
4
the
episodes.
Netflix one?
Yeah, with Bradley Whitford about
I've heard
President.
this is really good. Yeah.
It's excellent. It's really well composed, really well directed, really well written. It's a little fast paced. Some people think it's slow paced. I think it's fast paced just because it covers a lot of time in a very short amount of time. But it's really interesting to get a visual of American politics in 1880s because it is both simultaneously the same and very different. It's shocking how few white men were responsible for most of the political future of most of the political landscape of America was decided by a very small amount of white men until 20 years ago. But even before women had the right to vote, even before that, it's you know it, you understand that conceptually, you learn that in school, you understand that. But visually, to see it represented on screen, to see how the Electoral College basically got President Garfield elected is wild, and it's pretty accurate. It's fascinating to me. He literally gave a speech for a different candidate, and the people liked his speech so much that they voted against the current standing president, Ulysses S. Grant.
That's so funny.
A war hero for this guy they've never heard of because they liked his speech in the span of about 19 days. He went from getting a single vote to enough. They liked his vibe.
It was a vibe
fascinating to me. It was just really interesting. From a political perspective, it's wildly interesting. It makes you really understand and appreciate how much play is in elections right now, and how much me as a woman can contribute to elections. And it's just a friendly reminder that y'all, 100 years ago, we didn't have this right to vote. We didn't have this opportunity to vote.
Yeah, that's true.
So y'all better be voting.
Get out there and vote.
2 weeks ago for Californians.
And for me as well.
That's right.
We
you
had
guys had a governor elected. Oh,
we
yeah.
We did. Yay.
Everything went blue.
Yeah, went our way.
Anyway,
but
Yellowjackets.
I think talking about the Netflix show, we love a good period piece. How did you like being back in 1996?
That's Morgan. Are you truly calling 1996 a period drama?
I mean, unfortunately.
I don't know what to make of this.
The 90s are now far away from us.
Dude, if if you go shopping in most stores right now, like
Everything is
H&M,
looks like it could have
they
been.
have the like multiple layered camisoles back
Why are
and
they
the
bringing
high mini skirts.
Why are they
And
bringing back the early 2000s? That was
oh
a time that we
my
don't
god.
need to revisit. I don't understand.
Apparently, if you're old enough to still own clothes from that period, you're not cool enough to wear them. That's what the kids tell us these days.
I can't
So,
layer three camis over each other anymore
no, you
and wear
can't.
a business casual blazer over that.
Or a V-neck cardigan with a little horsey logo on the side. You can't do
To
that.
go to the bars, I would wear a blazer. Like it was a dark time. I'm just trying to
Caked
save
on
I'm
foundation.
trying to save the youth from the mistakes
Ugh.
that we made.
To be fair, I wore a uniform most of my youth, so I never actually got to do
I
that. So
I
I think
also wore the a uniform because I went to Catholic school, and I think
Christian
it
school.
saved me from a lot of mistakes that I could have been making, but I still made a lot of mistakes. Like, you know how all the pants are really big now? Imagine them even bigger, and that's the pants I had in high school. It was fun to see, I think in Yellowjackets, it was fun to see some of like the 90s fashion, but for me, it was
Yeah.
even more fun to hear the 90s music because that's, like, the music
Yes.
of, like, my actual like, my childhood,
Your
and I was like, "Oh
childhood.
my god, I remember this. I remember when this song was on the radio. I remember when this was important. It was, like, popular."
You know, it's just hitting me when you say this. I'm sitting there going, 19 months? How come it takes them so long to find a play? Okay, well, in
It's
1996, admittedly,
96.
there are far fewer pieces of technology. I'm like, what? Girls can't just share their location on Instagram? God, I'm so snotty.
Nobody's got a phone in '96. Nobody's got a cell
Yeah.
phone in '96. I
And
like
they certainly can't Google how to find grubs under a Canadian forest.
Nope,
Like,
sure can't, sure can't. It's funny, Mike and I have been rewatching Buffy, which is my favorite TV show, and he's never watched it.
I didn't
So
know it
we
was your favorite. Like, I didn't know
it's
that was
my
top tier.
Oh, yes,
Aw.
that's Buffy is my ultimate favorite.
Aw.
So this is what I'm getting back for reading all of the Wheel of Time books. He now has to watch all of Buffy and Angel with me. So I read like 15 books. He has to watch 12 seasons of television.
And
So it does feel like a pretty fair trade.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a healthy marital relationship.
It's called
Filled with
compromise, you
balance.
guys. I got a new favorite book series. He's getting a new favorite TV show. But yeah, it's so funny because we're in like season 5 now, which was like 2001 to or 2000 or 2001, and we're finally starting to see a cell phone here or there, and like not like a smartphone, like a old Nokia flip
Yeah.
phone kind of cell phone. But
Oh,
in the
man.
early seasons, like season 1, season 2, there's like no cell phones whatsoever. So that was like, I think season 1 came out in 97. So that would be about the time that the girls
Yeah.
are in Yellowjackets. So there's no cell phones.
There's no
So
cell phones.
you can't communicate. You're
There's
just
no
out
like
in the wilderness.
GPS. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Those are all very solid points. Um and what's interesting to me too is that I've only ever known about the stories of the girls. I find it fascinating there were males on that plane. Did they all
Yes.
die?
Well,
Are
that's
they
because the
are they
fandom in
hunted?
general is not interested in men, and I think that's fair and valid.
There we
But
go.
I will say, um, yeah, my memory is that it doesn't go great for most of them, most of the men. I will give another spoiler,
Go
um,
for it.
if you're fine with it, which is that one of them does at least at some point make it off the island, or make it the island. I keep
Oh,
saying the island like it's lost, but they do make it back. Um,
there
one of the
there
men
was
as
a
well.
hint that suggested that. There was something in this pilot that suggested that because I
It probably
remember
was, yeah.
it might have been the reporter who said something, but I will ask you afterwards who it is because
Yeah,
I'll just jump straight to it. I don't think I intend to watch more.
that's fair.
Um, it's really not on my list right now. I have other things that I'm interested in. I
And to be
actually
fair, like, the next episode is, like, the plane crash, and as you can imagine, that one I remember being, like, very brutal.
so it's interesting. I don't mind that. I
You know,
actually
so you don't
love
mind a plane
no
crash?
No, I don't mind the plane crash. I don't mind the trauma. I don't mind the broken legs. I watch The Pit for fun. Like that kind of stuff, that's all triage and medical. The long-term psychiatric damage that causes a girl to eat another girl is just not my jam.
You
Like
mean
I
them
do.
them going completely crazy and turning to cannibalism? That's not
That's
your
where I was like,
theme?
no, the cannibalism I'm not here for.
The
If it was like
cannibalism
Hunger
is a
Games
bit too
status,
far.
like if it was like, hey, we only have 3 potatoes left, only 3 girls get them, the other 3 have to die, fascinating, let's go for it. That's like the Hunger Games.
Well, I will
But like
to be fair, they are in the wilderness and it is winter. So,
there's
like
food in the wilderness in winter. Do you
obviously like figuring out food and shelter becomes a big part. And I will, again, spoilers, but like when they crash it's not quite winter yet, and when we see the flash in the future it is winter. But when
which
they
means they
crash I
had
think it's
ample
like
time to go for a
summer
hike.
maybe, or fall. But it's starting to,
See, this is where I have the problem is like, all right, 2 months in,
I mean,
you're like, bruh,
I'm
winter's
not
coming.
excusing,
Walk away from the
the
plane because that was
cannibalism.
there. The fact that they're still near the plane tells me that none of these girls were like, let's go for a hike. South is that direction. I register that there's a mountain, but we can make it. Now, what would be fascinating is if
I've
they
heard
try.
enough true crime about like plane crashes and disasters that I now know if you're in these kind of scenarios, like, oh, if you can find like a body, like a large body of water, just walk along it, because
Yes,
eventually you'll get to some sort of civilization, because
thank you.
civilizations tend to spring up around water.
I learned that from the settlers of Catan. Like, there are so many different options for survival here.
We've both learned it in different ways. True crime, board games. These girls
I
obviously
think
had neither, though.
neither they played soccer. Yeah,
It was
anywho, I'm just
96.
it was
It was
96.
a simpler time.
I don't know, man. What I would like is if any of our listeners are survivalists, um,
Yes, send us more
you tell us
suggestions.
how would you have survived in the wilderness. But then again, someone would be like, Amy, how would you survive? I'd be like, I don't know, find a rabbit and eat it, but they're in the ground. Squirrels are
In the
in
trees.
trees, actually,
Yeah.
hibernating. So, like, go find one. I'm just making
No,
fun of these girls.
it would be curtains for me in this exact scenario. I know who I am. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. I'm not making it out of those woods. Um, but to your point, it does feel like they didn't get very far.
No, they got like 3 square feet away from the plane.
And then they're like, I guess we got to eat each other.
I guess let's
that's
make some
gonna
really
happen.
cool costumes.
Yeah, that's
Some
what they've been
neat
spending their
outerwear.
time doing. They're
That was
like,
literally one of the thoughts that went through my brain was like, bitch, how'd you make that? Also, that's from a deer. Clearly you can hunt.
yeah, if you got the deer,
And what if that had a beaver face? Why are you eating
hunting
your
the
friends? Jesus.
You would have to tune in to find out more about that. What did
See,
you think
now
of the characters? Like, did any of the characters kind of grab you?
I think they were all compelling enough. I think I really liked the Shauna and Taisha character because I like the fact that they don't originally get along, and clearly they still have a somewhat contentious relationship. I think both of those characters are well acted, both in the past and the present versions. But overall, yeah, I think I'm intrigued by all the characters, which is fascinating. I don't like some of them.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them. But I think I don't like them in a compelling way.
Yeah, I know, I agree. I think that like a lot of them are not necessarily the most likable. I was remembering back to watching it, and I remember liking Nat the most, which is the sort of character who's a little bit of a burnout, a little bit like punk rock, like drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that. But I think as the show goes, she's like one of the more likable characters in the younger version. I feel like the older version is a little bit more of a mess, and I wasn't as big of a fan.
What's interesting is I did not like her in any version.
Oh,
I didn't like her
interesting.
at all. I was more interested in Ella Purnell's character.
I
Mainly
did like I
because
really liked Ella Purnell's character, and I think that the friendship between Shauna and Jackie
Jackie's you mean.
initially was, which is Ella Purnell's character, was initially very interesting to me because I think you can see that they really care about each other, but you can obviously see that there's a lot of
You feel
cracks
tension.
in their friendship.
Well,
And it feels like one of those friendships that are unhealthily close. One like not even just the boyfriend thing where Shauna is having sex with Jackie's boyfriend, but also Jackie at one point talks about going to the same college together, and then you find out that actually Shauna has been accepted to a different college that she applied
well,
to.
and Jackie gives her a pill and she's like, "Sure, I'll just pop this." Could have been anything. But
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about their relationship is that's one of those forced proximity sort of relationships
Mhm.
where they've grown up together their entire life. They really probably are so close that they shouldn't be hanging out as much as they are. But this is the obligation they have is to stay close and to stay together because regardless of what's going on in their life, they always have each other. But whether or not they have each other's back is a different story. Like I could very easily see the two of them splitting off into two different factions,
I feel like
which
these
I
are
have
the
a feeling will
I feel
happen.
like it's like one of those kind of codependent like friendships that you have when you're younger,
Yes, that's
like when you're in
exactly it.
like middle school, grammar school, high school, where you're all together in this one place and you're kind of like you mentioned forced proximity, and it
Mm-hmm.
can create these like really codependent, unhealthy friendships where even though maybe you guys aren't getting along or you feel like you have to be still friends with this person or this person like it feels like you can't sort of differentiate
It
and pull away from this person.
and it feels like it's on a ledge at any given moment. Like if you
Mhm.
two go to a different college and don't have the opportunity to speak in person every day, you probably won't speak to each other for 4 years.
Yeah, it's like are they actually very different people and
Mm-hmm.
they've been, trying not to recognize that or trying not to and trying to be so close, such good besties that they don't even recognize that like hey, it's okay if we like different things or we dress different
Yes.
ways. There's a scene where Shauna is kind of wearing more of like the 90s grunge
Mm-hmm.
outfits and Jackie's like, "Ew, don't wear that. Like
Yeah.
wear the red dress I gave you." And I think
Yeah.
also Jackie was such an interesting character for me, especially watching the pilot, because she does seem to be like genuinely a pretty nice person, but she's got those like mean girl tendencies where you can see that she's like very like subtly negging her best friend. So
Mm-hmm.
like her
She's
best friend
very
like
manipulative.
puts on an outfit and she's like, "Ill, don't wear that. Wear the thing I told you to do." Or she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, this guy that she knows that her friend wouldn't like, uh, likes you. Like I thought you would just be happy to hear that somebody likes you."
Yeah. It's
It's
little
like
manipulative.
it's passive aggressive, like, but you can read between the
Yes.
lines that what she's saying is like, "Nobody likes you. Shouldn't you just be happy somebody does?"
Oh.
And like it's the kind
Turns
of
out
like
it's your boyfriend that
yeah,
does.
it's exactly, it's that kind of mean girl thing that I feel like
Yeah.
does happen a lot in, like, high school,
Mm-hmm.
and
Now,
their relationship felt very true to me.
I agree. I thought the characters were pretty well done. I have to ask though, as someone who is from the West Coast, who has a very skewed concept of New Jersey, there were some fancy houses. What is the
Oh!
fancy house part of New Jersey?
So, okay, thank you, because I
I
was I was about to wrap us up, and then I was like, "Wait, no, I have to talk about the fact that this is set in New Jersey." In fact, they talk about, Shauna and Jackie talk about how next year they're going to Rutgers together, and they're gonna decorate their dorm, and I was like, "Guess what? That's my alma mater. That's where
I
I
thought it
went.
sounded familiar.
Rutgers, Rutgers.
Yeah.
Are you baby Scarlet Knights?" Uh I you know what is so funny is that I had
Hmm.
completely forgotten this whole show took place in New Jersey until I watched
Oh,
the pilot again, and then they have all these shots of New Jersey,
the Dunkin'
including
Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, this is our culture. The Dunkin' Donuts. I think that actually there's a shot of Asbury Park. I clocked that. I was like, okay, I know where that is. I think they had a shot of the bridge into like New Hope, Lambertville, which is like this
Ah,
like little
yes.
small city that I go to a lot. And I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
so
oh my
cool.
god. I did Google while I was watching it where in New Jersey is Yellowjackets set? Because I was like, I must know. It's a fictional town in New Jersey, which is a cop out. You should just pick a town, you cowards. But they made up their own pretend town to have this set in. But
That's
I
funny.
did go on. So then I went down a rabbit hole. I was
The
like,
rabbit
I don't
hole.
trust this. I don't believe this. And I went to like a Reddit thread to see like what the people of New Jersey thought this town
Of
was.
Yellow Jackets.
And the consensus on this one thread that I read was that it's probably taking place in Middletown or Red Bank, New Jersey, which is funny because my husband grew up in Middletown. They
Oh
think
my
it's somewhere
god.
in Monmouth County, and I agree based on some of the things that they're doing. And I think they mentioned turning onto a road that is in Monmouth County. And I was like, I would have not known this prior to meeting my husband, but now I was like, I'm clocking it.
That's
I'm
so
clocking it.
fun.
That's Monmouth County. And also, there are a lot of rich people in Monmouth County.
Well, okay, wait. Now I'm remembering there was a girl that like was taking clearly like prescription medication. Her like nanny or housemaid brought it
Oh
to
yeah.
her. Which character was that? Do you
I
recall?
think that was I remember the character, but I'm gonna go look on the Wikipedia. It was Lottie, the
Which
character
is which
Lottie.
one?
Actually didn't she wasn't a big character in this pilot. She was kind of just in the background.
Okay.
Um, so she doesn't have like a lot of moments, but I do I she gets more screen time as the season progresses. But
Okay.
like basically the big thing that they want you to know about in the pilot is that she is on some sort of like
Some sort
mental
of
health
medication.
medication, which perhaps comes into
Seems
play
relevant.
later when
Yep.
you start cannibalizing people, maybe like that she's off her meds.
um. Yeah. I like that. Like, I love when you get to watch shows and you're like, oh, I recognize that, and oh, I
It was
recognize
it
that.
was
So
it
I'm
was
cool that
fun
you
to
got to
see
do
them.
that.
I when they ran the obvious B-roll of various places in New Jersey at the beginning of the pilot, I
Yeah,
like legitimately laughed and I was like, "Oh my god, I know what road that is. I know what bridge that they're driving over. What?"
that's really cool though. I love
But that
that.
was fun. That was fun. I was like, "Oh, they're making" apparently they also, like, make references later on in other episodes to, like, Homedale and stuff like that, which is in Monmouth County, and I was like, "Okay, so they're Monmouth County girlies."
I love that. Okay, so after you've watched this pilot again,
Yeah.
are you gonna rewatch the series or no?
That's the question. After I rewatched the pilot, I was like, "Oh, I remember really enjoying season 1, even though it gave me great anxiety, and I dragged my feet on watching every additional episode." I don't know if I would rewatch season 1. I might just go to season 2 and see what's going
Mm.
on. I might, like, watch a recap at some point of, like, season 1 because it's been so long. It's been, like, 2 years or more since I've watched season 1. And then I might, like, dive into season 2, and then if season 2 has a dip in quality, I think I would probably just be like, "Okay, well, we'll always have season 1."
I think I am intrigued enough to want to watch it, but not intrigued enough to find the time to do so. I think I actually literally just want to go to a Wikipedia page and read what happens in season one.
I think that's so
I think that makes me a terrible like film TV
I will
person,
say that
but
I was interested enough that I was like, spoiler alert, you don't find out who dies in the pit in season 1.
what?
Thank you. I know. I know. I know. You don't. So
Oh
rewatching
boy.
the pilot, I was like, what realistically am am I going to pick this back up? Maybe, maybe not. By the time I do, will I remember that I did this Google search? Maybe, maybe not. So I don't care. So I looked it up and I found out what character dies in the pit. And I my reaction was, who? So that's fun.
uh
So, you know,
yeah.
eh,
Yeah, I think I might be intrigued enough to watch. I don't think I want to watch it. I think I want to read it. Like I think
yeah,
I
you're
legit want
gonna
to read the script of it. Like it, you know, just the way I don't know, it's just the way it was. But overall, I did think it was a well done pilot. What I find interesting is we know that Kat did not like this pilot.
That's true. And she
I
was
want to
like,
know why. She's busy in New York Comic Con right now doing
yeah,
all
she was
kinds
like,
of cool,
maybe
amazing
it's
stuff.
maybe it's best if I'm not on this one because I didn't like it anyway. And
I was like,
now after we're
what?
talking, I'm like, oh, I want to
I
now.
want to know
I wish
why.
I wish we had Kat on to say her opinion. Yeah,
What, what's
because I
funny
do
is
feel like
Morgan.
there's things in this that she would normally like.
Yes.
It's kind of
High
spooky.
schooly.
There's gay high school. It's
There's
gay.
gay.
There's gay. It's gay. I will say, you don't actually obviously Tice is gay. And she has a relationship with another one of the Yellow Jacket girls that you find out in the
Mm.
first season.
Mm.
So it does get gayer as it goes along. But even the pilot, like I feel like the pilot pulls a bait and switch where you think that Shauna has
Shauna and
like,
Jackie.
yeah, Shauna and Jackie have something going on. And
I mean, doesn't mean they're not.
I mean
Maybe that's the
it doesn't
core
mean
problem of their
that,
relationship.
that very well could
But
be.
I would be interested to see to have it does miss something when we don't have a chance to have all three of us on, because like God bless Kat, Frankenstein was not her cup of tea. It really wasn't. The whole podcast, she's like, I think what I'm going to do is just ask you why you liked this. Respect that you like this and respect good art, but understanding it's just so far from my cup of tea. I'm like, that's very fair. It's so fair. So it was mostly just a 40-minute dissertation on why I enjoyed
I can't
Frankenstein.
I haven't watched Frankenstein yet, but I can't wait to. And then my plan is to then immediately listen to your podcast episode.
It's just for a theater nerd who likes watching stage productions with symbolism and allegories and allusions to other literature and color schemes and artistic direction. I loved it. Interestingly, there was nothing overtly new about the script. I mean, there is. Elizabeth's story is completely different, but it's not like you're reinventing the wheel.
Hmm.
But it was still beautifully done. It was just a gorgeous production. There was nothing where I was like, wow, wow, that like, I was so impressed by this actor or that scene. Just the overall vibes of the storytelling was so up my alley. I feel like it was very similar to Carnival Row. I
Hmm.
was genetically predisposed to like this film.
You're like,
There was no world in which I wasn't going to like that or
this is
Crimson
made
Peak or
directly for
Carnival
me.
Row. Yes, I was like, and this was for me. Cool.
Well, I'm excited to watch it, and once I do, I'll text you and let you know my thoughts
Yes.
because I was too busy with my COVID rebound to
Oh, I'm
which it
so
turns out it can
sorry.
do
Yeah.
to make it to the last one. So I think that's going to wrap up our thoughts on Yellow Jackets. Thank you, Chloe, for this suggestion. This was really fun.
And clearly, Chloe, you are into Yellowjackets and into its final season. So if you would like to send us your
Yes,
dissertation via
please.
email at thelegendaryladies@gmail.com about why we're wrong, that it's like it continues to be good through 4 seasons, please tell us, correct us. We love hearing from fans. And again, if you email us and you make a cool suggestion, we're probably going to do it. We love that kind of stuff.
We do. And
Yeah.
sometimes we usually have some stuff that we definitely want to cover,
Mm-hmm.
but we usually have some stuff where we're like, should we do this? Should we do that? So if you have something that you really want us to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
always send it because we'll usually get it in because usually we'll find some time.
And don't worry, we will be covering the second Wicked movie,
Wicked Part 2.
Part deux. And
Part 2.
we're also definitely watching. We're going to do a Spartacus, the Star Spartacus pilot pod
Yes, that's right.
in the beginning of December to celebrate the new Spartacus series that comes out. And I'm curious because I don't think I actually truly don't know if the first if Spartacus is going to be either of your cup of teas. I really don't think it will be.
I don't
They're
know.
watching this entirely for me.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I feel like Michael might like it.
I I will bring back his opinion as well because he will probably watch it with me. Yeah,
Healthy relationships.
I've heard so many good things about it. but I don't it never seemed like something I would be really into. So I've always been like, I don't know." It feels like
Yeah.
something that I could get into, but I'd have to, like,
Yes.
like, into, like, a season in before I
Yeah.
started like, it started grabbing me. And so, like, I feel like I'm lazy now. I'm just like, I don't wanna invest the time.
I think the thing with Spartacus is there's a very clear pilot, and then episodes 2 and 3, like you'll know within the first 3 episodes if you're in or not. If you're not into it, you won't be into it. There's nothing that's going to change your mind about it. But you'll know very quickly if this is your vibe or not. But it's great storytelling. It's wonderful language. Um, a lot of blood and guts and sex and gore. It's stars. What are you gonna expect? It's just the way it is, and it's Lucy Lawless, so we're happy.
We love Lucy Lawless here,
We
so
do, we do.
so yeah, that's the stuff that is coming up on our podcast. You can, as always, email us at thelegendaryladies@gmail.com. You should follow us on YouTube at the Legendary Ladies Podcast. I think we're at just at the Legendary Ladies. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter, we're at legends_podcast. And then Amy, anything to plug, anything fun coming up for you?
Not right now. I'm taking a theater break, which thank
Ooh.
goodness. I needed a break. But you can find me on Instagram, Amy_HYP. Yeah, I don't think I have anything coming up at the moment. Morgan, what about you?
You can find me as a co-host on Supergirl Radio, where we are going to dive into the Peter David run on Supergirl, which I think was, I want to say, like the 90s or the early 2000s. I could be wrong, but I have heard it is wacky, so I'm excited to experience this. Rebecca has been talking about it for years and years, and I'm finally going to experience it myself. So, as you can always find us at Supergirl Radio, and our lives are usually Tuesdays at 9.
Cool.
So it seems like Rowan is like, it's time for you
Rowan
to stop
literally
talking.
knows time to go.
Rowan knows when we're wrapping up. He can tell.
Yeah.
So I think until next time, stay legendary.